Hi guys, Christmas Eve 2022. So while all the people are out, doing their Christmas Eve things, some of us might be home, getting the tree ready, wrapping some last presents for the kids. Some people may be out buying last minute presents. Nothing like waiting until Mary's water broke before you go shopping, right? Anyway, since some of us are home, I thought it might be kind of fun and cool to put together a little kit. This is one that I've created, and it's called the 50/50 game. But first, this video is sponsored by PCBWay. PCBWay is now in their 8th year of fine quality PCB manufacturing. At the end of this video, I will show you how to order a board from PCBWay. It couldn't be any simpler, but let's take a look at this kit first. So it's the 50/50 game, I call it. It uses a 555 timer to send out a pulse when you hold down the button. That'll be right here. That drives a 4017 counter, also known as a Johnson counter, through its 10 outputs. But we're not going to use 10 outputs. We're only going to use 2 outputs. And then we're going to send the next pulse to the reset pin. And when that happens, it'll reset and go back. So output 1 will be this LED, output 2 will be this LED, and they'll simply go back and forth for as long as you hold the button. When you let go, it'll be on one or the other. And the reason we have this is a friend of mine asked me to make this for bar bets. Win a free beer. Guess which LED, win a free beer. Something like that. So I've got most of our parts, except for the 2 ICs we're going to use, laid out here. I have a couple of LEDs. These are, I'm pretty sure, like white, clear LEDs. You can use any color you want. And I will make this board available, assuming it works, on PCBWay's website for the PCB sharing. Yeah, they're clear. We have some 1K resistors for the timing. I forgot to grab the capacitors. I'll get them in a second. We have a 220 ohm resistor to limit the current to the LEDs. We have a power switch and a couple of CR2032 batteries. All right, we've got our capacitors. We're going to use some 100 nanos for all 3 positions. That'll make the light blink pretty fast, but I think it'll be okay. Get our solder ready. Get our iron ready. All right, so we're going to start with the flattest components first, and those will be the resistors. I'm going to start with these 1Ks. Just going to make sure that they are actually 1Ks. Yeah, 975. That's close enough for government work, right? So we fit them in the board. Real nice fit there. And then we have our 220 ohm. Remember, this one's just to limit the current on the LED. If you don't do that, your LEDs will take all the current that they can get and basically blow up. So last night, what is left of my family, which includes me, my son, one aunt, my sister, her husband, and their kids, we had our traditional Christmas dinner. Now, I come from a mixed background, European family. partially Italian, partially Polish. So the Italian side of the family does this Feast of the Seven Fishes every year. When I was little, we used to do it on Christmas Eve at my great-grandmother's house. But in the past 20 years or so, my aunt does it. And she likes to do it a few days before Christmas. Especially with, everybody working now. It's not like when I was a kid in the 70s and all our dads worked at the mills. And, they were off for 2 weeks around Christmas. These days, people work whenever you gotta work. So, like I said, we had it last night. This was Thursday before Christmas. And it was okay. I'm still deathly sick. Feeling a little better, but couldn't really eat. It's always my favorite part of Christmas was the family. And since 2018, most of my family's gone. And I had my mother's aunt, my great aunt, who's also my godmother. We had to move her into a nursing facility, so she wasn't there. And I have a cousin that's in the Air Force, Sergeant Mike. He couldn't make it because, well, Air Force, you know how that goes. All right, let's do the capacitors next. I can never get these bags open. So it is Friday at 3:30 in the afternoon. In here in the Ohio Valley area is what this area is called. We're about, 80 miles south of Cleveland, 120 miles east of Columbus, and about 45 miles west of Pittsburgh, PA. That'll give you a kind of a pinpoint on the map where we're at. It is -2 degrees. With the windshield, I think they said it was -21. And the wind is howling out there. Snow's blowing everywhere. I haven't set foot out the house. I don't intend to. Dog goes out on her own, comes back. Now she comes back right quick because it is cold and nobody likes that. Now I assume it's the same in most markets, but here in the greater, Pittsburgh area, it's almost impossible to get tickets to Steelers games usually. And if you can get them, they're unbelievably expensive. I bought 2 tickets last year. I think I paid like $300 a piece for just, upper level tickets. Well, for tomorrow, Christmas Eve game, we're expected to be like -4 degrees. Tickets are quite easy to come by. Even the super expensive club seats are going for like $85 a ticket. Christmas Eve games, that's so hard. Unless you're like a single person with no kids or anything, you got stuff to do on Christmas Eve. If I wasn't still just getting over this flu, I'd buy me a really nice ticket for that game tomorrow night. But it's just going to be too cold. All right, so we got our capacitors in. We'll trim those guys up. You should trim them one at a time. Do as I say, not as I do. All right, right, let's do the LEDs. Long leg positive, short leg negative, flat side there to flat side here. I'm going to do these one at a time. And again, I'm just going to solder in one of those legs. And then make sure it's sitting how I want it to sit. Then we'll do the other one. That looks pretty good. When we had our dinner last night, my sister came in. She knew I was sick, and she told me that her whole family had just gone through it too. Tell you one thing. I had the COVID a few months ago, and that was bad. This was worse. This was worse. I would actually, well, I wouldn't choose to have the COVID again, but man, it was better than this flu. Of course, you're probably, saying, well, men are always babies when they get sick. Yeah, pretty much. All right, now the switch. This is actually a through-hole switch. That's a surface mount footprint, but we can make it work. All you have to do is bend your legs out a little bit, and then flatten it out just like this. Now those little nubs can be a problem, so we'll snip them off if we want this to sit nice and flat. Now I'm going to get a little bit of flux here on those pads just to help promote solder flow. Then I'm going to tin one just a little, just like that. Then I'm going to heat that up so that's molten. Get this where I want it. Hold it there for a second. Oh, popped right off. Didn't want that to happen. See, I just want this to hold for a second. Then we can come in, heat another one. And after that one cools, we can come back. Oh, hang on. Good thing I didn't sit down properly. Up too far. There we go. See if that's better. Nice. Hang on. What I have to do here is just trim these a little bit. And not much. I mean, I'm taking off just 0.5 millimeter or so. Not much. So I can get lined up on all my pads here. Yeah. All right, I think this might work. Get that tacked down. Let's see if we can't get these ones on. I am using an excess amount of solder on this side because I want to make sure we're good and down. This is your interface. All right. So the worst thing that can happen when you give somebody something you've made is it has a bad interface. So take the time to make sure your interface is solid. Creates a good impression. Okay, next up are our battery holders. You see, I'm not using any helping hands or PCB holders or anything. Just a little bit of blue tack when necessary. Kiss, right? Keep it simple, stupid. I always adhere to the Steve Wozniak principle of engineering, which is the fewer parts, the better. I think I heard a quote from Elon Musk saying, the best part is no part, which means if you don't absolutely need it, don't use it. All right, I'm going to get the ICs. So I got my custom-made chip straightener. Put that in there and give it a squeeze. Line up the dots. And in she goes. We'll throw some blue tack on that to hold it in place. Get some flux on there. We'll tack in the opposite corners. Yeah, see, that is not sitting properly. So by not having everything soldered yet, I can heat that pin, get it to sit. And now it's just a simple matter of filling up those solder pads. Very nice, very nice. All right, on to our last component, the CD4017. Same thing. And we'll get it soldered in too. You don't want to leave the blue tack on too long, just long enough to, I put that chip in upside down. How did I do that? That was unfortunate, wasn't it? Yep. Get under there. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'll be back. Okay, guys. While I'm trying to unsolder the stuck 4017, let me show you how easy it is to order a board, or as many boards as you want, from PCBWay. Just click on PCB Instant Quote, and then go Quick Order PCB. Add your Gerber file. In my case, we'll use this one. Then you're going to come down here and you're going to tell it what you want. This is a single piece. There's only one design. I need 5 boards, 2 layers. You can get up to 14. Standard material, aluminum, Rogers, HDI, whatever you want. What type of fiberglass? In my case, this is the standard 150, 160 with a thickness of 1.6. You can make them thicker for a more sturdy board or thinner for a lighter weight board. Leave all this stuff alone. Track spacing, you don't want to screw that up. Select your color, select your silkscreen, select your finish. Click here. They might put your board onto another board that's being done up in gold, and you might get a gold board. Doesn't cost you anything. After that, pick your shipping method, and you're good to go. I can't even tell you how long it took me to unsolder the old chip and put that one back in. Thing is, it's like -3 degrees outside, and my furnace has been running since it got fixed nonstop, and it is still, I have it set for 68 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 20 degrees Celsius, and my furnace is barely at 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So what we got left? The switch. Hopefully this is the end. I had to turn my soldering iron up to 380 to make sure I got enough heat to melt the solder. All right. Hopefully I drew up this circuit correctly. Hopefully. You gotta be kidding me. Merry Christmas, everyone.